Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli wa nusallim ala rasulihil kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. My dear and respected viewers, welcome back. And here we are again with another episode of the Tarbiyah series. And where we had left off, of course, we had gone into detail about a lot of our different festivals from the European side of the world, the ones that have been adopted by Christians, whereas they have nothing to do with Christianity. They are based in paganism, devil worship, idol worship, and generally what is categorized as rituals of shirk. Now we shift our focus towards our subcontinent, where some of these problems are really catching wind and need to be addressed because our children, our youngsters, are being fed a sort of narrative that makes it palatable and acceptable to jump into any sort of craziness, any sort of wild celebration that may be based on the worship of all sorts of idols. And it's sold to them in the guise of fun, enjoyment. So let's delve into one of these. It's coming up in a short time. In fact, two of them. This is a 2-for-1 episode. The festival of Holi, which is celebrated by the Hindus, and let's delve into some of its background, some of the facts behind it, some of its history or mythology rather than history. So the more we look into it, the more we can make a better decision for ourselves. I guess that is my purpose, that I can present to you the reality, and so we can present these to our children, to our friends, to our families, to educators, academics, school faculty and staff, so that everyone is on the same page and we have strong reason to guide our actions and our decisions, our choices. So let's go into Holi to start off with. What prompts this celebration? What is the mythology behind it? What are some of the ways it is celebrated? So there's several. I mean, I went into this and there was just all sorts of, just like we did our Christmas episode, and it was just all sorts of convolution. The reason is because when there's no authentic evidence, no divine guidance for something, no record, then you will have this entire hodgepodge of celebration, and its reasons, its mythology, its legends, and nobody really knows why it happens. It just, people do it because they see other people doing it and they think it's something fun or something they should get into, and that's the only reason it perpetrates. So but there were three reasons that historians and students of Hindu mythology have discovered. One is that the relation between Radha and Krishna. So Krishna, as we know, is a very celebrated god of the Hindus, and incidentally, very strangely, has nicknames such as Makhan Chor, one who steals butter, or which is very strange for a god. But now this Krishna was a dark-skinned person, and apparently would spend most of his day, just like Pan in the Greek mythology, teasing ladies and harassing them, even as a child. And as he grew up to be a young man, he would do so even more. And ultimately, he fell in love with the fair-skinned Radha. Of course, fair skin is always representative of beauty in the subcontinent, which is, just a sign of our inferiority complexes, shamefully. And because despite being a god and being dark-skinned, even if he wanted to, he couldn't change himself into fair-skinned. Anyway, so he was very depressed because he didn't have the courage to express his love to Radha because of his inferiority complex of being dark and her being fair-skinned. I guess the British played on that, and that's why they were able to take over India so easily. So his mother Yashoda, now get this, his mother Yashoda encouraged him to go to Radha and with his expression of his love and tell her that she may color his face in any color that she wants, which he proceeded to do. I guess she didn't want someone dark-skinned either, no matter who the person would be. I guess dark-skinned people don't have a place in society. So she smeared color on his face, and since then people dance around and throw color at each other, especially to flirt and tease and make provocative advances. So that is one of the bases of in Hindu mythology of how and why Holi is celebrated. Then the second one is a little more straightforward. Vishnu, who has several apparitions and several appearances as avatars, he showed up as a half man and a half lion to kill an evil king called Hiranya Kashipu, if I'm pronouncing this right, while the evil sister of Hiranya Kashipu was Holika, and that's where the word holy comes from. And Holika was incidentally burnt in a fire, which she lit to actually kill her own nephew. But she got consumed by the fire instead. And so the night before Holi, then they celebrate this incident by making a bonfire and dancing around the bonfire. So the night before, just like Christmas Eve is as important as Christmas Day, or Hallows Eve is as important as Halloween, similarly, the night before Holi is as important as the day. So this triumph of good over evil is celebrated along with the Holika bonfire. That is the second of the three reasons that I'm summing up. There are others as well. Then there's the resurrection of the love god. So, which begs the question, if he's a god, then how did he get killed? But that's a story for another day. What happened was that Shiv went into a state of meditation or yoga, jog, and his wife Parvati apparently was not thrilled about this, and she needed or wanted him at home. So she sought the help of the love god, who was Kamadev. And Kamadev, what he did, for some unbeknownst reason, he started shooting arrows at Shiv. So Shiv opened his third eye. He was still in a state of meditation in some other realm, and he opened his third eye, which we really don't know where it opens from. And in a rage, he burned Kamadev into ashes. I mean, anyone would do that if they're being, harassed with arrows and tried to be killed. But anyway, so the love god is dead now. So the love god's wife, Rati, was obviously not too happy about all of this. So she couldn't take on Shiv. What she did was she went into meditation herself and reached the same dimension or realm as Shiv and contacted him there in an astral world. And so Shiv's like, okay, I understand. Okay, I forgive him and I will resurrect him. So Shiv then resurrected and brought back to life Kamadev, and this is the celebration of Holi. So these are the three mythological reasons, and these mythological reasons are the only reasons that this event takes place. It's purely for the worship of these idols and for these false gods. There's no real other reason behind it. And what generally happens, as any sort of deviant practice, people get intoxicated. At this time, the choice of intoxication is bhang, which is made from marijuana. And there's colors, there's dance, there's scantily clad women. So it's a breeding ground of young people's or old people's hormones and just attraction, and of course of sexual decadence, affairs, illicit relations. Get this, in some places in Gujarat, the sister-in-law beats her brother-in-law with her sari drenched in color. So obviously she takes off her sari, then she, rolls it up as a rope, and then she beats him for some unknown reason. And in the evening, he brings her sweets. What? I mean, what's going on over here? And then in Odisha, the festival also includes worship of the idols Jagannath, Balabhadra, and Subhadra. The colors are offerings to these gods, and once they're offered to the gods, after that they're smeared on people's faces. So the color smearing itself is an offering to the gods. In Tamil Nadu, Holi is a time to celebrate and worship their holy couples, pun intended. Shiv and Parvati, very famous, we just spoke about them. Ram and Sita, another famous couple, Radha Krishna, and others. And don't forget Rati and Kamadev, the love god and goddess. They are also worshipped on this day in Tamil Nadu. In the Braj region of Uttar Pradesh, now get this, women chase men and beat them with sticks, with lathis, while the men woo the women singing lewd songs and the crowd cheers Shri Radha Krishna. And these are just a few of the details. So, wrapping our head around this, where are we actually headed with all of this? And interestingly, how does Holi tie up with Basant? It's basically a seasonal thing. When Parvati went to the love god, to Kamadev, for his help, that was, and when he attacked Shiv and Shiv burned him down, that was on Basant Panchami, meaning the celebration of the coming of spring. And we know it as Basant here in Pakistan as well. So is it just innocent fun? Is it just a bit of kite flying and just, wearing orange clothes and just enjoying the good weather? Is that all it is? I don't think so, because what's the cost we pay? We fail to evolve as a society. We're still using either metal string or string coated in glass when we're flying these kites. And what that ends up doing is hundreds of people get electrocuted, let alone the people who fall off of roofs or children who come under cars because they're chasing after kites. This is a common scene all over Lahore. I lived in Lahore 5 years, in our days of Jahiliyyah. We used to celebrate Basant. So we know the inside stories. We've, inside the old city, the Havelis, rooftops, all of that with the Dol Dhamal and the Bokata and everything. We were witnesses to this. What else would happen would be that the loose string. So what happens with these glass-coated strings is that people are either flying kites or the kites get cut and there's loose string, and a person riding a motorcycle with their child sitting in front or no child, people's throats get slit with the string. People die. And all your, a million people celebration is the day of mourning and destruction for a family because you just wanted to have fun. That is the level of our selfishness and our social lack of growth, our immaturity, that we're ready to have people electrocuted. There was one time, I don't remember which year it was, 3 grid stations were blown out in Lahore because metal strings were used and wires got shorted. And nobody's going to take responsibility. So we have to take responsibility of our actions. Now, and that's not where it stops. Get this. Dr. Bakshish Singh Nijjar, he's an historian and obviously not a Muslim historian, and he wrote the book Punjab Under the Later Mughals. According to him, when Zakaria Khan in the 1700s was the governor of Punjab, a Hindu of Sialkot by the name of Hakikat Rai Bakhmalpuri spoke blasphemously against the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his daughter Fatima radiyallahu anha. He was arrested and the court acted according to the law and gave him capital punishment. Eventually, the death penalty was carried out and the entire non-Muslim community went to mourning. As a tribute to this blasphemer, a prosperous Hindu, Kallu Ram, initiated the Basant Mela in Kot Khwaja Said, which is also known as Khoja Shahi in Lahore. And Dr. Nijjar states in his book that the Basant Mela is celebrated in memory of Hakikat Rai. So do we really want to celebrate and commemorate a blasphemer by celebrating Basant? Is this something our own conscience can bear? Is this in the name of fun we're ready to destroy any and all of our values? Will we blindly follow every madness that is thrown at us in the name of fun? Where do we draw the line? What about the intoxication? What about the lewdness? What about men chasing our girls, or vice versa? And how do we reconcile these things? That is my question. I mean, how do you reconcile your values, your faith, your beliefs with this madness, and justify it? That's where we have to ask our questions, and this is where we need to look inside ourselves, and this is the discussion we need to have with our children, with our university going children, with our school going children. You see, lust is never fulfilled in dunya. It's not possible. For joy, you need Allah's zikr, and you need contentment. Contentment is only from Allah's zikr. Contentment is from helping others. Instead of wasting, say you go through a day of Holi, everyone's clothes are destroyed. They can never be used again. Okay, a lot of other things are ruined, spoiled, and of course there's a lot of expense in these celebrations. Instead of that expense was used to feed the hungry, help the widows and the orphans. Instead of destroying those clothes, why not, purchase clothes for or donate them to the needy? That is what's going to give you joy. That is what's going to give you contentment. Not dancing around, screaming like a madman, and coloring your face in all sorts of colors. So instead of, let's make the right choices, and let our children make the right choices. And most of all, are we willing to flirt with the most dangerous sin, the most unforgivable sin of shirk, just for the sake of a little fun? Do we not stand for anything? Do we have no backbone? Do we have no willpower to make the right choices? This is shirk. And again, I will bring Allama Iqbal's share to you. May Allah allow us to understand it and implement it. That बदल कर भेस पर आते हैं हर ज़माने में, अगरचे पीर है आदम, जवां है ला तो मन्नात. ये एक सजदा जिसे तू गिरा समझता है, हजार सजदे से देता है आदमी को निजात. With this, I'll conclude and leave the choice to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.